Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of Fangirls Only. This week our special guest is Spencer Litzinger.
Hi.
Hi. So before we start, do you want to tell us a little about yourself?
Sure, Vanessa. I'm Spencer Litzinger, full name. I'm a kids TV host for YTV as well. I also have a podcast. Spencer wants to know, Here we go. And it's so I'm a person that works in media. I'm also into social media, like traditional media as in like TV, and also into the new age of media, which is social media.
Love it. So
Thanks.
let's get started with the questions now. So the first question is, when did you start working with YTV, and like what's been your favorite memory from it? Like the best moment?
Oh, okay. So I started almost like it will be 4 years in May. So whatever the math behind that is, I don't know. But I've definitely grown a lot. I remember when I first started, the idea of like looking into a camera and talking was very hard for me. I wanted to come across as like very real myself, and I didn't know how. So I would just always be like, okay, energetically, let's do this. Let's do this. And now I've gotten to the point where I know I can be myself. I can look in the camera and say, hey, what's up? And it's not so hard for me. So that's really cool to see that growth. And I think my favorite memory, I mean, it's the one that is the most memorable for me, is I gotta go to Disneyland, which is insane, right? Like, how could that not be the one? I got to experience Star Wars Galaxy's Edge before it was open to the public, and it was so incredible. Like, there was media from all over the world, right? Like, not just America and Canada, like the entire world. And it was so cool to be a part of that. And I genuinely like love Disney. And the literal 2 weeks before, my boyfriend and I went to Disney World. So that's in Florida. And then I got to go to LA and I didn't even explore LA. I just went to Disneyland. But to see the difference in the theme parks,
I know.
that's
crazy.
Yeah. That's what opened up for me, is like this, oh my God, I love theme parks. I want to go to Japan for Disney, Universal. So that was really cool. And obviously memorable. It's like I was watching like a doc on Disney, and they're like, we make memories that last a lifetime. And I was like, you know what? They're not wrong.
Yeah. Sorry, my computer. Oh my God.
What happened? That was so fun. Boom, boom, boom.
That's my dog. So
oh, it's your dog.
He's a bit crazy.
Is he?
Okay, so next question. Have you ever met any celebrities? And if you haven't, just like name a celebrity you want to meet.
Okay, I have met a celebrity, and it's crazy because I'm always forgetting his name. Oh, man. Eli? Who did I meet that played Forky? There we go. So I met Tony Hale. I completely remember his name. He played Forky in Toy Story 4, and he's also been on a lot of other TV shows, which is Arrested Development. He has a character in that, and he's just like kind of doing more and more stuff. But he's like very, very, very comedic, and comes from that improv sketch background, and it was really neat. I remember being able to see the movie Toy Story 4 and like getting to come up with questions, and then it's all happening, and you only have like, I don't know, like 3-4 minutes. But he was just so like open. And I have had chances to interview other people, and I got to one time do a carpet, which was really cool.
Wow.
And it's just such an art form to like meet someone and have a job where it's like you have X amount of time, you have to make a company happy, but you also have to connect. And I found when I did get opportunities to do it, I got to do a lot more of like Canadian singers, which is cool. But when I got the opportunities to do it, I did find a way to like make a quick bond, if that makes sense. And other celebrities I'd like to meet, like, well, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I've always imagined like being interviewed by Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, wow.
It just makes like it's just been there my entire life. Like it could be someone else, it could be James Corden, but it's just been there. It's like, I think it would be so fun. Like the games they do, like, oh, are you going to taste something? Or are you lying? You tell a story like that. Like there's just so many people in the world that you could interview. But it'd be fun to be interviewed and just like that big sort of stage or something.
Like walk on the stage. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Yeah, exactly. You get it. Or like if it's Ellen, it's like, okay, they always do the dance or like, you know what I mean? Like there's just so many games and so many like iconic moments that these celebrities get to have. And it's produced too, right? Behind the scenes, the celebrities know the story they're going to tell. They make it feel like it's so off the cusp, right? Like it just feels, those are the best ones where you're just like, ooh, I got to learn Dwayne Johnson had this, doesn't eat sugar. Like, oh, like it's like you got to come into their lives a bit more.
Yeah. What advice do you have for someone who wants to be like a TV host or like into broadcasting?
All right. I mean, if you know and you're like, my dog, you're muting it. I can see. That's so funny. No, advice number 1, know when to mute. No, I'm just kidding. I think if you know, that's awesome. If you're young enough to know and go to school for it, great. I didn't go to school for it. And sometimes I'm like, I wish I did. But also, you don't have to. Obviously, I'm a person who didn't and is finding their way through. I'm learning every day in the industry. I'm making sure to ask the producers questions, the editors questions. So if you know, great, go for it. And then advice-wise, if you want to be a host, practice, I guess. Practice talking to a camera on your phone, like practice, watch what we do. Like there's so many different channels, right? From like kids TV host to entertainment host to reporter, like really watch that and then practice. That's what I did when I was auditioning. I would practice, just like I would write down things that literally other hosts said on YTV and I would practice, right? Because I was like, that's the job. So getting comfortable. And then there's this whole other layer too of just being okay with messing up is a big thing for me. I used to be like, I'm not allowed. If I mess up, I fail. But the neatest thing that happens is when you mess up, you laugh, usually, or the crew laughs. And it's like sometimes even seeing a scary movie, it's like, oh my gosh, there's so much tension. We're all so scared. And then finally the scare happens and there's relief. Yeah. So it's remembering even in that intensity and the fear of like what happens, no matter what, I can guarantee there will be some relief. And it can be hard. I've had those days where it's like, I literally like, I can't remember the lines. I can't. And it just, you feel like you're falling, but you make it through. And that's what makes your skin tougher. And you don't need to apologize at all. Like no one needs that from you. Just keep going. And like I said, like I started off not being able to look in a camera and now I can't. So it takes time, but it is possible. And it's a neat thing to share who you are and stuff and do your best with like lines that you could be given. Like, how do I inject who I am even in a line? Yeah. Cause I think actors, like they play a character, right? Like that's the whole job. You're becoming someone else. Us hosts, we're ourselves, but also perhaps for a brand or perhaps for something bigger. So how do we bring ourselves into that in an already existing world? I'm actually studying broadcasting in college. So like the podcast is like a experience. I'm actually gonna put it on my resume. You should. Yeah. Why wouldn't you? Think about all the experience you're getting from just like meeting so many different people and just energetically, like everyone's different and being able to guide yourself through it. So Vanessa, for you, do you have like, I don't know how long you've been in school now, but do you have like a spot where you're like, okay, this is where I'd like to go? Like, are you interested in radio, TV, producing? Like, or what do you feel? Honestly, like I've had more experience like interviewing, so probably like interviewing and stuff. But like I've been in college for like a semester now. Aww. Yeah. A semester. That's so cool. I was like, maybe, because I'm like, I think I saw, was your birthday recently? Are you or turning 20 soon?
Yeah.
Okay. So you, I guess, did you go to school before? Or did you take the year off because of everything that was happening in the world? Or you just wanted to, what did after high school, what did life look like?
Well, like I graduated in 2020. So
Okay.
then I did like photography and I didn't really like it. So I was like, you know what, broadcasting.
Oh,
So
that is so interesting. Think about it too. It's like you were behind the camera and
yeah,
now you're like literally going to be in front.
that's crazy. Yeah. Okay, so next question. When did you start comedy?
Oh, that is a good question because the beginning of my life, like I was literally like, I remember my mom and dad told me like when I was 5, there was a plumber over or something. And then when he left, I went over to the fridge and I pulled my pants down and I went, guess who I am? Which, plumbers usually work with toilets, but they got the joke. They got the joke,
Yeah.
which was a butt crack. So I always felt like I always wanted to be funny. I always like, and I remember like I would watch movies and I would see people laugh at certain jokes I didn't get. And I remember being like, is this math? Like, is there an equation to comedy? But now I know it's just like a funny sentence is funny.
Yeah.
That's like a funny sentence, a funny idea, a weird idea. That's what's funny. It's not that there's like some sort of secret mathematic language. I would practice telling stories. My mom was just like really supportive of me, like maybe almost too supportive of me. Like she made me feel like I could walk on water because I was like that talented. But that I guess that's good because it allowed me to try to be out there. And then by the age of like 8 or 9, I was going and watching like improv comedy. And then by 10, I was like doing it. Like I would be around adults and there's something called an improv jam. So it's like you pay what you can. So maybe it's like $3 and you sit and you put your name in a bucket. And as you're sitting the entire time, you're like, oh, please call me up. Oh, please call me. And I hope I get a good, fun improv game. Like whose line is it anyways? A nice long one. And then you get called up. And I would be with adults, like literal adults, and I'm a child. And when you're a kid, like you don't. I it almost always felt like, oh no, I've been put with who let the dogs out? Vanessa. No, I'm just kidding. So when I would get called up, I felt like sometimes like the other adults were like, oh no, it's Spencer, because Spencer took her 3 minutes and would talk so much. I'd be like, I'm a robot. Like, didn't give them any time, which isn't very fair, but it was where I grew up. And then I started doing, like, I got on, like, by the age of 12 or 11, I had my first, like, real improv show. And it was just so cool. And then after that, I actually did musical theater for a bit, and I would always get the comedic roles. And back then I was like, why can't I be the pretty lead? All I want to be is the pretty lead. But now I'm like, oh no, it's a gift to be the funny one. And then I left the performing arts, got real depressed because it was my first breakup. I didn't know who I was at all anymore. Didn't, because it was like my first boyfriend. And literally all I wanted to do was like get married at 16. Like I was like, you have to be the love of my life forever. He breaks up with me. I've left musical theater, and now I'm just in this weird alternative school where people smoked cigarettes. And I was like, what are you doing? You kooky kids. They weren't really kids. Like a lot of them were 18, 19, but that's where I was at. Like everything didn't make sense at all to me. Nothing did. Things make sense to me a lot more now, but that was the state. And then my mom was like, we're putting you back in improv. I did Second City. I've taught improv to kids at Second City. I went to Humber for the comedy TV writing performance program. And I thought I would be an improv teacher. I know deep down, like my big dream was Saturday Night Live or writing for TV. And then, so my program was like 2 years long. I went right out of high school. So like when I was 20, I got into a TV comedy writing program. I went for like a week, and I always had troubles like going to class regularly. But when they would say this program can make or break you. Like, you could potentially get work from this. I was like, I'm not ready. I'm still too young. I need a year. There's no way. I'm not focused enough. And then in that year, I started to get auditions for YTV.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And my boyfriend's like a writer, and he's really good at it because he can write it. Like, he could write every day. Whereas for me, I'm like, I guess like a very different type of creative where it's like, I want to edit a social media video, or I want to edit, or I want to do the podcast. I want to be a TV host. I want to do this. Like, I don't have that thing where it's like I could write every day, but he can, and we work together on things, which is great. And it's nice to realize that our partnership is valid. Like, I actually help a lot in my own ways. Like, I'm good at like talking to people, getting things out there. Like, he likes my ideas. Like, I'm able to add to his already greatness, versus me butchering myself, being like, I have no writing day today. I can't think of anything, but that's okay because I can do lots and lots of other stuff that not everyone can do.
Okay, so the last question is oh my God.
What kind of dog is it?
Golden Retriever.
Oh, so he just wants to love you. Or she.
He's a pup. Oh my God.
Oh, okay. So Vanessa is getting up. I am going to eat a delicious cookie from Craig's Cookies. Shout out. I don't know if they need more promo, but it's ooey. It's gooey. It is delicious. I have a whole box of different flavors. I got a Sour Patch Kids one, which kind of, I don't know if I should have. I got 6. And I'm sharing them, of course, with my boyfriend, so I can't eat all of this. Me and Eli each have to have some bites of it. I think this is the Tim Tam one from Australia. I don't know what else to really say. You know, Vanessa said this is the last question. So I wonder what it is. I'm going to take a guess. I think it is, where do you see yourself in a few years? I'm trying to guess your last question now.
Sorry. It's a puppy, so
That's okay.
Always wants attention. So the last question is, what's been one of your biggest accomplishments in your life?
Ooh. Can you take a wild guess?
Clearly not the podcast.
No, it is the podcast. It's changing my life, honestly. It's so neat to spend so much time. Oh, I got a text message from a dog. Happens to be your dog, being like, bow, 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 bow. Yeah, it's really cool to spend that much time, like an hour. We go back to school. Like, the whole show is about, wow, I'm getting lots of messages now from your dog. Your dog really misses you. I go back in time with Eli, my boyfriend, every week. I sit down in this chair with a mic. Oh, I'm going to knock things over. There is a mic. It's a big thing. And I sit down and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what the subject's going to be. And he researches and he goes through my report cards. And then I'm surprised about the subject. And I get to share stories of what it was like in school for me, or how I acted as a kid or a teen, or just life in general. And then whatever that subject is, there's a pre-test to see how I do. And then I have a 30-minute cram session by myself for the final test to see if I pass or fail that particular subject. And it's having that much time to like remember that I can talk, like, and I'm funny, and like Eli's funny. And now we're like, we have a guest, like, he was the host on Cineplex, Tanner Zipshin. Like, we interviewed him over the weekend, and like, it's really cool, like, to also be able to interview people. We had my mom, which was a blast. We talked all about my anger issues. But basically, it's been life-changing because I feel like it's endless. Like, the possibilities of it are endless. And it's nice to have listeners and a community that is really into it, and just to be like, where can this go? And know that every week that's what I'm doing.
Hey, they stop barking. Woohoo. Okay, so that's all for today. So thank you so much for coming on. It's great having you.
It was great to come on too, and I think you're so sweet.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, someone just started to call me. This is the hardest part. It's like, maybe this is why I should have done the Zoom not on my phone, because it's like you get all these like messages, calls all of a sudden, it's kind of funny. I'm just waiting for the call to stop so I can literally see you as I say goodbye. But I don't see you right now. I'm just gonna click decline. Okay, there you are again. You're still there. And are you excited for your weekend? Do you have any special plans? What are you gonna do after this?
Probably some homework. 6 a.m.
Homework? What kind of homework?
My classes. I have like some photography assignments, some like radio assignments and stuff.
Oh, cool. Well, I hope you have a really nice time doing that, and congratulations on taking such initiative to like do this work even before the job happens. You're making it a job, which is really cool.
Thank you.
And I wish you a happy birthday when that happens.
Thank you.
And thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it.
No problem.
Okay, I'll see you on Instagram.
Yeah, for sure.
Bye.
Bye.